interested in your thoughts on that.
It does in the legislature. But because of the partisanship, even though the vast majority of things, I mean, you've watched the legislature for years, the vast majority of things pass with bipartisan support.
Right.
But there's always the 5 or 6 or 10% that we hit on. So to people who are in rural Oregon, they don't feel they have a voice because that's all they hear about is the conflict. But they're doing pretty well. And you look at it, they lost a big voice with Ted Ferrioli when he left because he was in leadership. But they're doing pretty well because the Democrats and Republicans are fairly close. So there's a rural voice on the major committees that are out there. It's just when they want to push something, they're never going to be able to push and beat the Willamette Valley and the Portland area voices. There's just too many of them.
Who stands out as providing that liberal voice? You mentioned Ferrioli, who's not going.
Yeah.
Stands out as far as providing the rural voice.
Right, the rural voice. It's tricky because so many people from Southern Oregon and Eastern Oregon aren't rural. They're from Bend. They're from Klamath Falls. They're from Medford. So they're suburban. But when you get into it, you find kind of the Cliff Bences of the world from those far Eastern Oregon legislative seats. They do a pretty good job. There aren't many of them. Then you have to come into the Willamette Valley, the west side, and there, anybody, I mean, we don't have a John Tester from Montana who comes home from the Senate and goes out and makes sure that his ranch is doing well. We just don't have that anymore. But you get the Arnie Roblin types of the world from the coast who have a good take on what's going on. Some of the ones who are in the coast, for instance, Kim in the Willamette Valley, Kim Thatcher, partly because of the construction business, she does an okay job. She knows those kinds of things. But it's tricky because so few of them are actually rural anymore. We just don't have, somebody was a good family friend for years and years, George Gilman from Southern Oregon. He was a dairy farmer. And so, if you wanted to know what was going on in rural Oregon, talk to George. But it's so rare to find them anymore.